Hey, everybody, welcome into the building. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad to see y'all out there because we got a special treat for y'all today. In my opinion, hey, everybody, listen, today, y'all know over here we recap the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And if you watch this season, we got introduced to a new personality, okay? We got introduced to Drew's sister, who also serves as her manager. Okay, and we had what a time recapping this season. But more importantly, what we learned on this show and what we deal with in this world. And some people, they get ashamed to get help. They're ashamed to kind of admit it and address the subject. And I love the new kind of spin. I'm going to use that word, okay? I might be using the wrong word. I love the spin that Allison has put on this title of mental health. Well, she's here, guys, to talk to us today about a whole lot of stuff, okay? And she's going to get into it. And listen, we're hoping that we reach and we help somebody out there. So I want y'all to welcome into the building, Allison Jordan, okay?
Yay! Hey, girl.
Hey, Allison, looking amazing, looking beautiful. And listen, we just out of habit, we love to say like you and Drew look alike, okay? But I guess since you the older sister, right? Go ahead. Tell
Right.
me.
People be saying, "Oh my God, you look like Drew Sidora," and I'm like, no, she would be looking like me. I was rocking this look, and then here she comes, and it came out of my mother's body, not mine. Thank you, E. Thank you, everybody. I see your comments.
Okay.
I just dipped my hair, so it's like kind of wet, but I just took it down, trying to like freshen up these little braids.
Well, listen, we love
In
it.
my opinion, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing an interview with her. I think I saw it on my calendar.
Yes. And thank you, in my opinion. All right, guys. So listen, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this interview with Allison, right? And she will answer the question that y'all all love to say, and the question that's on the streets, okay? Because everybody's swearing down. Oh, Julius, talking to you, Allison. That everybody just swears 10 toes down that Allison is Drew's mother. So, Allison, you could answer that question as you also tell us about your childhood and how you started in the entertainment industry and became Drew's manager.
No.
Okay.
I am not Drew's mama. I was just telling her I saw like all these sites that are like made or whatever, and like all these people like having all these theories. It is hilarious to me. But no, matter of fact, my mom and I were on Make It Make Sense. We did another show. We did a mental health panel last week, and my mom actually was like explaining. I was laying in the bed when my mother's water broke with Drew. So I actually like had Drew Sidora's yucky, what is the stuff that gushes out
all of that
over my body. So no. And I think there's even a picture of us when there's pictures of my mom when she was pregnant. There's pictures of me holding her. I used to carry around in a bag, like this duffel bag, and like set her on the kitchen counter when I cooked when I was younger. So yeah, no. But she did come live with me in Hollywood when she was 9 years old. I had already been in Hollywood. So when you said like growing up, so we grew up Initially I was raised on the north. It's like the north south side of Chicago. If anybody's from Chicago, it was on 16th and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents owned two buildings, my mother's parents. And oh, thank you. And so we were raised there, and then we moved to the south side to a community called South Shore, which was an emerging, like young, cultural community, sort of like Hyde Park is today, but it was South Shore community. And that's when my dad was like in medical school, because he had went to medical school when we were younger. Like I remember my dad, coming home, he was working at the post office with my mom. And I just remember him saying, like, I want to buy your mom like a fancy car. And then he stopped and went, if I was a doctor, I could probably pay for it. I could be a doctor. And then he took the MCAT and he passed and he went through college. And for us, watching our dad, go through school, go through college, go through his residency. This is before, cell phones. There were pagers and being on call and sleeping at the hospital. And my mom was working two jobs so that my dad could, do what he did. So we, they were married 61 years. And I know some people know that my dad recently passed away. And so it was just an amazing thing to watch. My parents were married 61 years and the sacrifices they made for one another to sort of, have their dreams. So my mom eventually later on in life went to theology school, became, a pastor with an MDiv. And so thank you for the condolences, because it's really fresh. He had Alzheimer's, but when your parent died, it was like the moment I was there when he took his last breath. And it's like you don't even think about the Alzheimer's period, which was a few years. It went right back to us at kids, with him like teaching us how to cook. Like I learned how to cook from my dad. My dad would see patients all day. I worked beside my dad. I know you said you did pediatrics as a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was the first Black chief resident of pediatrics at Rush Presbyterian Hospital.
Wow.
He saw over 10 patients. He was the first doctor to take Medicaid. So his whole goal was to take care, quality care for the indigent population. And so we watched our family, my dad always say, do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. Finish school, get a car, and then, follow your dream. And I say it to my son, as long as you're happy, you're safe, and you can take care of yourself. And so we all grew up with that theory of like, we want to be happy, we want to be safe, but, we want to make sure we can sustain. And so that's pretty much like my trajectory of who I am today. My mother was, a very smart businesswoman. She ran my dad's practices until she wanted to decide to do, her work in the ministry. And then I ran my dad's practice. It's like all of us ran my dad's practice. It was like if you had a pizzeria, we'd all know how to spin pizza. You know what I'm saying? So our tenure. I was in the entertainment industry. Even Drew was working there one time. I remember she had a little purse and she would like do the little files and like go to lunch to this little place next door. And she was like 12 or something. It was so cute. And then, my brother, he was a manager once, and now he's like very high up in pharmaceutical sales in Dallas. And then my sister was manager, and now she's high up level with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so I was the one that was still in entertainment. I'm like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I worked there the longest, but my dad let me do both. I was able to, like, Drew would come to the office. I'll put her on tape for an audition, or I'd have to leave and go on tour with her. And so, it was really just a family. We just supported each other however we can.
I love that. But you said something that triggered in my mind, and it's a good statement. You said your dad said, do what you
have to
do.
So you can do what you want to do.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God. That right there, you can put on a t-shirt.
Okay. Maybe I will.
Yes, you should. Yes,
right.
you should. Yes, you should.
If you want to go out, do your chores, do your homework, stay on the honor roll, go out, don't get in trouble, just do what you have to do. And then life is so much easier, and that's how I raised my son and my niece, my sister's daughter, who's honor society, just started driving. She trusts her. It's like, cause she did what she had to do. Drew's kids are on point. Josiah, he is just like super, super smart. And my brother's kids, they're like, everybody's like honor society. Like, it's not even like I'm on an honor society. It's like just part of our family culture. Like,
Right.
okay, so what do you want to do? You know what I mean? I want to design clothes and I want to act and I want to say, okay, you know.
That, right, right. Yeah, well, y'all like the first real life Huxtables almost.
That's what they used to call us.
I
They
can.
actually, when
Wow.
I was in high school, they called us like the Black Cosby. You know, my dad was so funny because he did remind you of Bill Cosby, like how he taught us things. Like I
Mhm.
remember we had a party. I was in high school and we had what was called why am I whispering? Anyway, I'm sitting there like, is my mama watching? I was there like, you know, Amy, what happened was, but no, we had I had a party with my boyfriend at the time, Don Zylowski, but his name was Zaya, my first love. He was
Okay.
a Polish kid. He was beautiful. Anyway, and we're still friends today. But
Yeah.
anyway, we had a party and we had like kegs in the backyard. Our backyard was like super big. And I went to a school where it was predominantly white. I would think it was like 8 Black people during that time. And my mom was pregnant with Drew. I'm in get ready to graduate from high school. Like almost like 19. I'm like 20 years older, right? And
Mhm.
so we're back in the backyard and we're having a party. I think we were like graduated by then, but we were still like not legally able to drink, some of us. And
Mhm.
so my mom was like sitting in the table. We knew she wasn't gonna wallow outside because she was like almost about to pop. And then my dad was making hot dogs. So the police knocked on the front door and they were like, um, you got underage kids, drinking beer back there. It's like, they're not drinking beer. She keeps coming in here for soda pop, And I was like, I kept coming like, oh, mom, I need more soda. It was so much soda piled up in the corner in the backyard. I don't even know. I was just coming in there like, and she was like, no. And she looked outside and it was like 300 kids back there, living just our best life. So my dad made us come in, pump all the beer, put them in all these bottles and make me chug a lug beer. And we were like, he's so cool. And he had my friend spend the night. And he woke us up really early the next morning. And he was like, you want some runny eggs? And he made us eat runny eggs. And then he took me to see patients with him. And it was like, he was driving like this. And I was like, I'll never drink beer again. I promise, Daddy. And so that's how he would teach us things, like by just giving you hardcore learning experiences. And that's how he was. Like, even when we were small at the funeral, I think my mom just found out that he wasn't really spanking us. Like, he would like take us in the room and like hit the thing. She would like, wait till your dad gets home. And we'd be like, oh, we're so scared, you know? And he would like buy us Mentos and jawbreakers, my sister reminded me. So yeah, so I could talk about my dad all for hours and hours and hours and just the impact he had on the community. So
Mhm.
many people had stories and we just had a really amazing childhood. I can't say that there was anything except some of my own personal traumas that happened. But
Right.
other than the family unit, yeah, I think somebody just said they love the family unit. So thank you for that. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful, amazing family union. And actually, y'all could probably write a whole book and story about your life and your dad, because for him to have become a pediatrician that many years ago, and had a thriving practice is a testament in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for just doctors of color today to even
And
like.
I think it was two African American male. And he has a book. My dad has a book. I wish I would have sent you the thing. It's called From Suspenders to Stethoscope. And
Really?
it's on Amazon. And my
Okay.
mom just finished her book, so I'll have to get that to you. Maybe you have my mom on there, gray hair. She a gray hair diva too.
All right now.
But yeah, my dad, when he grew up in Mississippi, his younger sister, Diane, had died at the age of 9, I believe.
Wow.
And he just was like, I'm never going to let a child die if I can help it. And I'm going to, grow up and be a pediatrician. And he saved so many lives just doing the most. Like, he would do like every blood panel. I mean, when I worked for him, I remember when it was what was it? The pandemic before the swine flu.
Mhm, mhm.
And he was swabbing everybody. And
Wow.
and the FDA called him and everybody called him. He was like, "You got a cough, right?" He was like, "No, it's my knee." "You got a cough, right?" "No, it's my knee." "You have a cough, right?" "Yeah, Dr. Jordan." And he would like swab him. But people were coming back positive. My son had it and gave it to all the friends. And that's what a pandemic is. It's always like wait till it gets
Yep.
to the
Out
pain.
of control. Yep.
So why not like pre-screen? And that's
Mhm.
one of the advocacies that I'm talking about now and trying to get some legislation and working with some medical organizations and insurance companies to see if people can just get a brain scan. I got my brain scan. Like,
Mhm,
why can't we? You go and you get an EKG, you
mhm.
go and get a colonoscopy,
Yep.
you go and get all these other specialists and all these other things for the body. The brain is the most important thing in your body. Why isn't it routine for us to get a SPECT scan, which tells you more than just if you fall and you get a CT scan or something like that, or an EEG or whatever? And so I got a SPECT scan courtesy of the Amen Clinic, Dr. Daniel Amen, when I was on the show. We actually gave them away free to everyone. I don't know
Wow.
who all took them. I know who should have took them, but I don't know who took them. But yeah, so I took mine. I
Okay.
revealed my brain scan on Make It Make
Makes
Sense,
sense.
which you guys can catch on YouTube from last week.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Gettings, one of my producers, my co-host on The Brain Truth, she went through my whole brain and told you all about it.
Wow.
And it's no shame to it's the same if I would have showed you the x-ray of why my ankle broke. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
So is that since you're saying that, is that the title behind you, The Brain Truth?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's my podcast. So I can tell, I don't know, I told the story on the show,
Mhm.
but they had edited most of it
Right.
out.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic came, so I worked in Hollywood. I think Drew talked about it on the show, all the stuff that I did. And
Mhm.
then I came to Chicago, got married to my ex-husband, which is my son's dad, who played for the Bulls, and I ran a women's team. So you can Google me as Allison Jordan and Allison Hodges. But so when I was going to write a book in 2020, I got a publishing deal. So it
Okay.
was in the heart of the pandemic. So I was just going to sit here. I'm like, I'm going to write this book. I'm locked in. Let me just do it. So I'm writing my book. And I just started to think about when I was molested at 10 by a
Mhm.
family adult member.
Okay.
I was spent the night at my cousin's house and he came in. I just remember him smelling disgusting. And the bed, like the slats broke, like psh, like that. And I just remember him jumping up and leaving. Luckily, he didn't do as much as he could have. And
Mhm.
then I got molested again at 12 from another adult family member. We're playing hide and go seek, and I'm sorry if some of this stuff is
No, I think you
a
can.
lot,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you need to brace your audience, only because I like to normalize the narrative of trauma and what happened so that I can speak for those who can't speak for themselves. So that's why I kind of just tell it, because it's what happened to me. It's not who I am.
Mhm.
And so I just say what happened and then my journey to healing, because a lot of us have gone through what I've gone through,
Mhm.
and the other side is there's healing and you're not alone. So this adult family member sodomized me with the end of a broomstick. And I
Mhm.
just remember like, and he had his hand over my mouth and just, that came up. Then I had a guy in college. He wasn't even my boyfriend. He was actually a friend of my boyfriend who came over and he spiked my slushy. And then that was like the date rape. And then my mom thought I had like flunked out of my first year in college,
Mm.
but I didn't tell anybody, but I ended up getting accepted at Columbia and finishing. But that was just a really hard time for me. And I didn't tell anybody. And then I was in an abusive relationship with a boyfriend who beat the crap out of me. Like it would just happen one day. We were like all in love and like just super love. And then one day he was on the phone screaming, and came out of the shower. I'm gonna go to class. I was still in school
Right.
and college. And he was like, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he just ran towards me and just started choking me. And I like literally couldn't breathe. And I'm looking at him like I'm fainting, like I'm drifting away, like, oh my God, I'm about to die.
Wow.
And somehow he slipped and I was able to run with my towel to a payphone because, we didn't have cell phones. And I called my friend. She came and got me. And of course, I went back because he loved me and he was so sorry. And that would be the pattern, dragging me downstairs, knocking me down. He put a gun to my head, pulled the trigger, and a bullet got lodged. He reloaded. So all this stuff came up while
Mhm.
I'm writing a book because we took those in our secret places. And it was somewhere in a real hardcore locked up vault somewhere.
Yeah.
And when that stuff started coming out, I started having nightmares and anxiety, which I didn't know was anxiety. I guess now looking back over my life, I've had them before, but I didn't know. And so I was having panic attacks. And if anybody's ever had an anxiety or panic attack, it makes you feel like you're having a heart attack. And I was going to the emergency room. It was a pandemic. So I thought I was psychosomatic. I was like, do I have COVID? I can't breathe, and I was just calling 911, calling 911. And then on June 27th of 2020, I went to the emergency room, and by petition, because doctors can petition in the emergency room for your own good, once they get the behavioral health department involved, and they transferred me to a psychiatric hospital where I spent 19 days.
Wow.
And I remember being in the hospital, and I see all your comments, and I really appreciate everything you guys are saying as I'm saying the story. So I am seeing it. Thank you. So I was there in the hospital, and I remember the psychiatrist saying, like, so you ready to talk today? And I'm like, what do you mean? I've never met you before. And he was like, I have been talking to you every day for 9 days. And I'm like, I never seen you before. He's like showing me what I've been saying.
Wow.
Most of the time I was just staring off in space. And I was just like, whoa, 9 days I've been here? 9 days. I went in my room. I made a pallet on the floor. My husband, that I'm married to now, that's a whole nother story. He brought me my Bible, and I just told God, I say, not if, when, when you get me out of here, I am going to dedicate my life
Mm.
to this mental health journey, and I'm going to find out what happened to my brain. And when I came home, I was just out of it because, first of all, I was in there for depression, PTSD. No, I was in there for anxiety, PTSD, and a nurse just noticed that I wasn't eating, I wasn't engaging. So most of the days I was there, they didn't diagnose me with depression yet. They didn't diagnose me to depression closer to when I was discharged. And so
Mm.
when I came home, I had just been on the antidepressant for like 2 weeks. And as you know, if anybody's taken an antidepressant, it takes 8 to 12 weeks for it to do what's called re-up to the
Mhm.
brain to bring that serotonin back up, because when we're suffering from mental health crises, I like to call it mental mishap,
Mhm.
the serotonin leaves, and then when you have panic attack, it's called tachycardia. You're a nurse, you already know your heart rate's going up,
Mhm.
and it could affect a lot of things. So we really have to check it because when your cortisol levels are high, it can affect your kidney function, your sugar spiking, diabetes. So there's a lot of health issues that can arise from mental health. That's why I'm like, mental health is physical health. Like
Yeah.
everything is the heart and the brain connection. When you have a stroke, it's your brain. You can, if you had a SPECT scan, you could see a stroke early on.
Mhm.
So anyway, about a few weeks after I came home, I was out of it. Like I said, my husband was nurturing me, cooking for me. And then like in August 21st of 2020, he just literally got in a car and drove away. Like didn't pack nothing. I thought he went to the store, and
Wow.
it was 3 years this past August 21st. 3 years. It was like a death. But I did not deal with it at that time. I sort of just went on with my assignment and that commitment I made to God, and just got involved in mental health. I started joined by fluke. Became on the board of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I became certified suicide prevention, what's called a QPR. And
Mhm.
I do this for real. I just helped 4 people with suicidal ideation like 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And then I'm also a mental health first aider for adults and children. And a friend of mine at iHeart and I don't see the iHeart. I got to put the iHeart logo up
You
here.
do, yeah.
iHeart, yeah, I forgot about iHeart. I'm on iHeart too. He told me to come and like cover his show, and I'm like, no, I'm depressed. I'm in the bed. I have social anxiety. I have PTSD. My husband left me. No, and he's like, it's a heart of COVID. I'm scared of COVID, and he's like, no, I need you to come, and I was like, no. He has been on the air for 9 years. He has like a #1 podcast here.
Wow.
And I'm like, so then he calls me a week later. He's like, you got to do my podcast. I can't get nobody to cover. I'm like, what makes you think I can do it? I just told you. And he's like, you got to, my house burned down and all this. He was laying it on thick. And I'm like, oh, wow. Ugh. And so I was like, well, who do I have to interview? He's like, you interview whoever you want. So I was like, cool, I'll take my mom. And so, what do you say? Brick City. I suffer from panic and anxiety. I'm crying as oh, I don't want you to cry. I hope you're crying for like good reason. And you're not alone. Like we experienced the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I go do the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next week, do the interview. I end up interviewing my friend. They said I can bring whoever I want. So I interview my friend, who is the vice president of the Southwest Union, first Black female, which is dope. She's a rock star, Corliss King. And I was happy, and I got to interview my friend, who's a professional boxer. So I'm rocking. So afterwards, I'm like, okay, is that it? And I leave. And then they say, no, come in the conference room. So I go in the conference room, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so amazing. You should have your own podcast. And I'm like, no, thank you. I've got to go back in bed. She was like, well, you know, there was this man from this hospital that wants somebody to do something on mental health. But Black people here at the station, they don't want to cover it. It's a stigma. Nobody wants to talk about it. And I was like, oh, well. And I said, well, what's the hospital? Because, you know, I told her my story at that point.
Right.
And she goes, oh, you know, it's River Edge, like that. And I just sat down because I was headed out the door. I said, that's the hospital I was in.
Wow.
That was a hospital. I made a promise to God on my knees.
Wow.
It's me.
Wow.
You know, that song, it's me, oh Lord.
Mm.
And I just said, okay, God, here we go. And she said, what are you going to call it? Just like that. And I said, I don't know, the brain truth, like the plain truth. Just like that.
Wow.
And that was in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been, you know, I started doing my shows, and it took me a while to launch. I was supposed to launch on that Tuesday. It was like 100 Tuesdays. I don't know. I kept having panic attacks. Every time it was like, it'd be Sunday. I'd be like, it'd be Monday, you know, and then I finally just one day I said, you know, when you're doing an assignment for God, when you make a commitment to him, it's not about you. And I just somehow got the strength to just, you know, get up and go. Right. And I went, and oh, thank you, E. I can't really say. Don't tell my sisters that. Yeah, thank you. I can sing. My sister doing it, don't believe. Everybody in my family can sing. My sister has a single out that's banging, but yeah. So you can hear my podcast on thebraintruth.com and also on YouTube at The Brain Truth with Allison Jordan. And so I just started, and I was burying myself in my show. And I have what's called the brain gang, because we gang up on people. We be healing people. And they're all like representative of like my healing journey, which is like faith and a clinician. So the brain gang is comprised of like nutritionists and you know, everything that makes up a holistic approach to brain health. Right. And so apparently I was going down like recently, but I didn't know. And I had seen a picture of my husband, like I said, who left me in 2020. And I never saw him except recently. And this girl was like posting all these photos of them and like wanted me to see him, I guess, because it was like, why you keep posting all these pictures? Why is it in my newsfeed? I don't even know you. And I thought I was okay when I saw it. And I was just like, I guess not sleeping. And they got together, all my producers, like, I got an email at 3:00. Well, I got one at 2. I got one at 5. And then she called me at 8, you know, and it was like, she's not sleeping. Then I was losing all this weight. And, you know, they're pretty much like, look, we're worried about you. And I just remember this one day, I had asked my therapist to come by. I had to sign some paperwork. Never been in my house, never met her in person. I opened the door, and I'm on the phone with my godmother, and she was just calling me Sasha, checking to see if I ate, because I wasn't eating anymore. Right. And I just remember something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And I had been having panic attacks. I would be driving. I couldn't even get to school. And this one day, it was like, it was like a serpent. Only thing I can think of, it was like a serpent had like wrapped around me. That's all I know, is like it was choking me out. And I just remember saying, I'm dying. Like it's trying to kill me. And I came to, and the paramedics were there, and my heart rate was up 196. Nurse, is that a good heart rate? 196?
No, 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 not at all.
Like when you get to 220, you're pretty much gone, right? I was at 196, which
Wow.
means I was dying. And that's why I tell people, not only do you need therapy, but you also, whatever you believe in, I'm not trying to push any type of religion on anybody, but
Mhm.
you do have to have some type of faith, some type of meditation, and some type of peace,
Mhm.
because anxiety lies to you. I had a therapist, my first session, she said, look, can you curse on this station?
We normally don't, but you can say what
I
you
can
can.
do the letter.
Yeah, no, you
She
can say what
said,
you said.
she said, that bitch, anxiety don't like you. And
Mm.
that whole depression that be with her, they both want you dead.
Oh,
So I am here to help you kick they a.
yeah.
That's my first session. And I looked at her and I said, she said, you with me? I said, yes, ma'am. And she did. And
Mm.
that's what I'm telling you guys that are watching.
Mhm.
Anxiety, she don't like you.
Yeah.
And that da be with her, because anxiety, depression is right behind anxiety.
Yeah.
And they don't like you. They want you dead. They lie to you. They make you believe nobody loves you. They make you feel like you're alone. They
Mhm.
make you feel like, you're not going to make it. And yes, Sheila, anxiety is very real because it is actually happening to the body. It's a chemical imbalance. I tell a lot of people, when you go to the doctor, see if they can check your vitamin D. That's like the most important blood test. My vitamin D was at a 6 and it should have been at a 69.
Mm.
And when we have vitamin D, especially us African Americans or minorities, we don't get enough sunlight. Sit out in the sun. Exactly, Latasha.
Mhm.
Fruits and vitamins, definitely. Eat a lot of blueberries. I eat a lot of blueberries, a lot of iodine, like antioxidants, rich foods. It helps with balancing out your blood.
Yes.
So we talk about that on the Brain Truth. We're in pre-production for a television version of the Brain Truth.
Nice.
And so I'm going all the way. And I want to make an impact. I know we've saved many lives, but when you're carrying a mantle this large,
Mhm.
and you're carrying a mantle because he saved me. I mean, I didn't die. I am here. And understanding brain health and understanding diagnoses, the different ones. There are people who say some of the most ridiculous things.
Mm.
There are people who don't truly understand that, we look at people like Twitch and the young model who jumped off the roof. I think that was
Yeah.
last year. And when I read her story and I found out what diagnosis she had, it was a diagnosis that was unpredictable,
Mhm.
that she should have never been left alone. So when people were like, she was so beautiful, she had her whole life, why did she do that? I would have never done that. You don't know what you don't know until you experience what I'm trying to tell you. And anybody watching, if you've never experienced depression or a panic attack or anxiety, it could happen while you're driving. You could crash
Mhm.
or hit somebody. It is not something that we make up. It can, it's a debate, like, is it a spirit? Is it this? Well, it could be, attacking you if you don't get the help. You could attack you because you can tell yourself and psych yourself out. When people have ever seen somebody have to get on stage and they just get nervous, that's not real. That's just your nerves saying you're nervous. You're not going to do it. Don't get on stage. That's the enemy telling you, like, you're not going to make it. Like, no, you can bind it. You can say, no, fight your way through. And
Mhm.
that's what I've been able to do along with therapy and coping mechanisms, and all that. So, mhm.
Amazing, and you are so right. It's a lie. It's lying to you and convincing you, and all of those reactions that your body go into become real reactions that can literally take you out of this world, right?
Take
It
you
can
out.
mimic you having a heart attack,
Mhm.
but your heart rate and everything actually truly goes up,
Yep.
right? And it's all starting, like you said, with the brain, and you got the brain truth there. I will add this. I do a lot of meditation, prayer,
Mm.
all of that. And, I say similar to like you said, right? I never try to push anybody on my beliefs and lead them my way. But to me, also, I do believe you got to have some type of higher power that you
Yes.
believe in, pray to. Because for me, and, again, we're not pushing anything on anybody, save my life every single day, right?
Amen.
So one of the very big, no longer living motivational speakers that I absolutely love and follow a lot of my life is Dr. Wayne Dyer. And
Yes.
yes, I repeat this all the time to people. He said, live in the now.
Yep.
A lot of times, some of our anxiety, and all of that comes about us thinking of the past
Yep.
or trying to think about the future. And he said, if you focus on the now, because you can't change the past, it happened, right?
Exactly.
So you got to work your way through that and figure out a way to let it go. He said, you don't even know if you're going to be here in the future, but you have right
Exactly.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So try to live in the now. And a lot of times that will help you throughout your day. Another thing that I practice too is release everything at night. I don't go to bed with my daily, whatever happened. If something happened during the day that I did not like, I don't take that to sleep with me. I let it go. I release it. I forgive myself.
Ooh.
Sometimes you said something, you wish you didn't say it. But go ahead, talk
I
about
have
it.
a story about forgiveness. Yes. I it was I think in 2020, the end of it. Like when when you're going through all this stuff, if people can attest, you're always looking for some healing. Like if somebody told me to stick a carrot up my nose and walk backwards, I would have done it. I was trying to find anything to heal me. It was like, okay, let me do this,
Mhm.
And I was scrolling through Facebook and I found who's now my mentor.
Mhm.
Her name is Prophet June. And first, I was like, oh, prophets, they be yelling, they be this and that, you just never know. But she was so beautiful and poised, right? And I think she should have a peach. Oh, a little fake peach in here. So I was like stopping, right? And so I'm listening to her, and she was just so poised. She was just speaking on some things, and it was just talking about forgiveness and this. And I was just like, wow. And I said, hey, man. And then she stopped and she was like, Allison Jordan, I have a word for you. And I was like, you see? So she was like, inbox me. So I inboxed her, and then she would call me, like a week later, set up this what's called a prophetic advisement. And it was
Mhm.
about an hour, and it's time stamped. I'm going to let people hear it, I think, like on one of my episodes. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to reveal it. But in this recording,
Mhm.
she told me I was going to do radio. She
Mhm.
said I was going to be helping people in their lives. She said my marriage was going to be restored. She told me I was going to go to Atlanta.
Oh my
She was talking about my sister who was my daughter, but she was kind of like, I think your daughter like it was hitting. But at the time when she was telling me this, first of all, I wasn't even speaking to my sister at that time
Okay.
because I wasn't speaking to really nobody. So I thought everybody was after me because I was going through my stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I had to resign after I came out, and that's a whole nother show. We can do part 2, her husband and why I quit .com. But but during that time, so I was like, girl, no, I'm not going to no Atlanta and this and that and that. And so I just was like listening to the whole thing. And afterwards I was like, okay, girl, bye. And so I went on about my life. And when I told the story earlier, like when I got the podcast, and then I was, things started manifesting and other stuff that she started telling me, not even the Atlanta stuff, because that came now, but like in 2021, 2022, she was telling me stuff that was just manifesting. So, I found her, and brought her back in my life. Now she's one of my biggest mentors, my advisor. She's one of the producers on my show. She's actually one of the Brain Gang members. And we did a show about forgiveness. And we talk a lot about it because she's on every Monday Night Live.
Okay.
And we talk about forgiveness, the 7 stages of forgiveness. Because sometimes we say we forgive somebody, but then we don't really forgive them. Because there's times when we be rolling our eyes and stuff, looking side eyes. So this was really letting go, and where I had to like forgive everybody, even my molesters, even, everybody. And I did. And I was waking up and I was fainting. Like every morning I would get up and I would like pass out. And I'm like, oh God, I went to the cardiologist. I thought it was something wrong with my heart. I didn't know what's going on. And he monitored me for like, the next month. And
Okay.
I was on blood pressure medicine at the time for 16 years.
Wow.
And I was exercising, doing everything I could, to try to get off of it. And in 30 days of monitoring and practicing forgiveness, I'm off blood pressure medicine. There was nothing that all the exercise in the world and eating all the blueberries. It's because when you forgive people and you start to let go, and I saw somebody say yoga and meditation and like going to sleep, like you said, Diva,
Mhm,
um, it rebuilds your endocrine system. You
mhm.
can literally regenerate the soul. My mother calls it the soul soil.
Yes, yes.
And you can literally change the dynamic of your life by
Uh-huh.
just forgiving. Even when I was on Watch What Happened Live and y'all saw me with that fake cousin Courtney, if she ever wanted, I forgive her for she knows not what she does. She's super ignorant.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if I held on to that, it would just make me more anxious and angry and this and that. I'm just assertive now. I
Right.
I wear the shield. My armor is all over me. You're,
Mhm.
you're not going to stand and lie. You're not going to be fake with me.
Right.
You're not going to violate my energy.
Mhm.
You don't have authority to be in my area.
Right.
And so I just stand stronger. But I couldn't do and say I'm not even the same person that I was. I wasn't a bad person, but I think differently. Like more assertive. I have to protect my boundaries
Yep.
because I was a habitual people pleaser. I'm
Mm,
sure there's a bunch of us out there, people
yep.
pleaser, people pleaser.
Ah,
That was me. I'll be saying yes to everything, and then I'll be mad when the day comes. Like, yeah, I'll volunteer and do your pancake breakfast. I'll volunteer and do your, and then when it comes, like, dang, I gotta make all these pancakes. Okay, girl. And now I'm just like, no. Why are you saying? And people get mad at you when you start saying no. It's
mhm.
like, God dang,
When you take
no,
your
no,
life
no.
back. But, all of those things end up connecting, right?
Yeah.
If you get a lot of people that will violate it when they was young or even when they was in college or older, it doesn't matter when the violation happened.
Yeah.
We all have like you have similar traits, right?
Mhm.
You become people pleasers. You because indirectly you lose your self-esteem because you was violated, and it's such a trickle effect. And I mean we can have like a long big conversation on that, but I'm sure like just
Mhm.
opening this. But I see the connection where it's ironic but it's not at the same time that your father was in healthcare,
Mhm.
your mom theology and all of that.
Yeah.
Here you are in a mixture of both.
Woo. Woo.
Is that not a word? You're in a mixture of both because your
That's
health.
deep, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You just did that. Sometimes some people say you make you go, ooh, like I never put those two together.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You're a mixture of both. It's always a design. Like there's always a great plan there.
Wow.
And everything that we learn from our parents, some
Hmm.
way, it comes back out of us. It kind of circles back. You know
Yeah.
how they said if you put it in the child, they're gonna remember, they're gonna know it's gonna come out of them.
Yeah.
Every seed we plant in them, it comes out. And you have that good foundation in your home of entrepreneurs, your
Wow.
parents believing in y'all, your dad in the healthcare, and here you are and
Mm.
helping the people. Um, I like the fact I connected when you said the legislation, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times there are what they call preventative care, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm connecting with you that this brain scan needs to be part of preventative.
Girl.
It needs to be part of the preventative care, right? We got a mammogram, you pay for it. We got this, the colonoscopy, the whatever
Yep.
it may be. Every year you're supposed to just go get a regular exam with your primary care physician.
Exactly.
EKG, like you said, why not add this brain scan into it so
Right.
that people understand, why do I feel this way? Why am I having this anxiety? Why can't I get
Yeah, it will show you. Like I had a frontal lobe injury. And they
Mm,
were like, "You have a brain injury." I'm like, "What?" From probably I remember having an accident and the airbag like popped in my face. That's the only thing I could think of. But kids fall off of bikes all the time. I think my mother dropped me in the snow, or it was my brother, somebody. We probably fell off the bed. You know what I mean? My son fell off the bed many times. And you
we
don't
all have,
know,
yeah.
right?
right?
And then
And
your kids be acting up. You be like, I need to get your brain scanned. What is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? You like, man, it'll be a joke or something wrong with your son's brain. And it's not funny because you
exactly,
don't know if you don't
exactly.
know.
And then you had a list of traumas that went on, right? The
Yeah.
trauma was just compiling on top of each other.
Yep.
And I don't want to go too far off the path, but I think that, there's energy where people, it's like indirectly you're attracting these things to you because people kind of feel it and know. It was like one violation happened, then another one happened, then another one happened. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You ended up bringing this person that you loved into your life that seemed like they was one way, ended up being another.
Yeah.
So the husband left.
Uh-huh.
Did he ever come back? Did you ever cross paths again or anything like that?
Yeah. I got a funny story. I'm just trying to see what she. Oh, okay. I was trying to see what my puppy was biting. As I dropped my earring, I'm like, that better not be my earring.
Yeah, right.
Okay, no, it's a plastic thing. And and every time I look at her, she puts it in her mouth and goes,
Like,
but anyway, so I did. So I guess I'm just gonna tell it like it is. But he came, I got to a place where I was a little bit stronger
okay.
and he blocked me, so I could not reach him. And I even called his mom, and his mom is like, kind of ecstatic. She almost sounded like she was happy he left me. It's just very weird. Well, I know what it is without telling the business because I do have a book that's coming out and it kind of really goes deep into
Okay.
everything. But he came over here to get some of his stuff. Well, I wanted him to get some of his stuff because remember, he left 3 years ago. Everything's still like in the same place he left.
Wow.
I was able to pack. It took me like a year through therapy to like start packing some of his stuff. Because remember, like, people like, girl, you should leave him. He's seeing somebody. You have to remember, like, he just left me. It wasn't like I wanted to get separated. We were fighting or anything. I wasn't well. And then
Yeah.
I couldn't even process it until like almost 2.5 years later, the spirit of abandonment and the spirit of rejection. So I was just kind of, first, let me do the one thing at a time. Let me get rid of this past trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
PTSD, okay, molestation, right? I can't, that's just too much for me now. My husband left me, at my lowest. And when I tell you we were together 20 years, we've been married 11 years in January. It was just not real.
Wow.
And we came over and he saw all the stuff here and he wasn't prepared. He was like, oh my God, there's a lot of stuff. I said, it's 20 years of our life. And I asked him, I said, are you in love with this woman? Because, you all over going to all town and people didn't even ever see me. Like I barely go out because, I have, I'm not going to say I have. I sometimes experience social anxiety. And he said, I'll come back. I promise. It's just too much stuff, and I said, okay. And before he was leaving, I was like, okay, bye. And he was looking at me like, oh, you're not going to be crying. Cause before, like if it was 2 years earlier, I would be like, I love you. Don't go. Cause that's what narcissists want you to do.
Yep.
And he kind of like grabbed me and we kind of messed around. That's my husband because I'm celibate. That's my husband. So it's been 3 years and I'm still married and and that's a whole nother show. But when you're married, even though you're separated, you're still married until you're divorced. You're still a married woman. I'm still married. And remember, I didn't ask to be separated. I
Right.
didn't know he was leaving me and not coming back. So I was always holding on to that. And then I heard God say no divorce and that he was going to deliver my husband and bring him back whole. So it could be 10 years from now. I heard people get divorced and get remarried, but right now I'm not focused on any man. So I'm just, working on my assignment. But he left. And then I didn't even know he blocked me until like 3 weeks later, because I didn't call him after that. He had some mail that came and I was reaching out. And then that's when I was like, his phone's going to voicemail. And I called from my other phone and I called from somebody else's phone and he answered. And I was like, you blocked me? And then he was just kind of like, well, I mean, I just didn't know and then whatever. And I was like, wow, bro. Wow. Like how you just get ready, just put it in. Now you turn in the knife. Like, what did I do to you? You know what I'm saying? Tell me so I can, we want tangible answers to why people hurt you. But then I realized it wasn't about me, it's just about his own trauma and his own walk and his own healing. And I bumped into him recently by accident because I don't leave and go anywhere, but I produce a festival here on
Okay.
Labor Day. I went to drop off because I'm part owner of a tequila company. I'll
Nice.
plug that later.
Congrats.
And I was dropping the cases off to the hospitality department because I don't really work, even though I produce, I don't work at the festival. It's been 20 years. So I kind of just stopped through, make sure everything's good. And I had a feeling that I was going to see him. I don't know. God was just speaking to me. And I literally was driving around a golf cart and I was like, oh, well, I thought I would see him. And I put it back. I was leaving. I was backing up and I bumped into him. Thousands of people at this festival and I bumped into him.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, hey, I was like, you can't come to my VIP. I was joking, like, you don't have no credentials, whatever. And I thought he would laugh. And he was like, well, I'm leaving now. We're leaving. He said, we. And then I was like, so he was kind of like trying to push me, hurry up. And he was trying to hurry up and move. And I was like, normally I would just like, okay, whatever, and just walk away. And I was Gary walk away and I said, hold up 1 second. Hold on, Horseshoe. And something in me, like I turned around, started walking, like, hi, husband. Hi, mistress, girlfriend. I'm his wife, and I was just talking and I just let this stuff out. It wasn't mean. It wasn't nasty. It was just like, look, I don't know you. You probably don't know me. What's going on? Is he coming to get his stuff so he could be with you? She was looking at me like, what's happening? Like, he don't have stuff. Who are you? She knew, but she didn't know all the stories, In that moment, he was standing there 15 minutes. I told my friends, like, how would anybody stand 15 minutes while you had a whole conversation? I was just telling him because he was shocked. He was like, who is this healed woman?
Right.
That is standing before me, that I can no longer manipulate, that I can no longer control. And, and I said everything I had to say. And it was like, for me, it was like a transference of energy. It felt so like free. I didn't cry. When I walked away, it wasn't mean. They were just kind of like, okay. And then when she walked away, I saw her ask him, like, you were over at our house and this and that, and that, like trying to verify stuff. Like, he didn't lie to me. Why is he lying now? 20 years. He was in shock, Tiffany, honey.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was walking away and I was crying. Like, you know how you have that like tear in your throat? And I was like, and I was holding on to it and I had to stop and I had to identify, what are these tears for, Allison? Don't lose it. You got to go back. And I think because I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
No, I know it was because I was proud. Even talking about it.
Wow.
When you do the work and you emerge into your purpose and you know that the mantle you're carrying, and this doesn't mean I hate my husband. It doesn't mean, I still love him. I know he has his own, I'm very sensitive to his journey, but when he's hurting and I'm hurting, God removed him on purpose. I wouldn't have been able to heal in the way that I'm healing now if he was still here. I wouldn't have been doing the Brain Truth. I wouldn't be on Atlanta Housewives, And so I thank God every day for assigning me, choosing me to go through what I went through. Because if I didn't go through, and I've said this on my show, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have desired healing. I wouldn't have wanted healing for other people so badly that I would do all the things that I'm doing and take all these dang on classes, and become certified. So yeah, the brain scan petition. What a good idea. Can you inbox me and help me? That is so smart.
Yeah.
Because one of my producers, Dr. Gettings, who you'll see on my show when you guys go to thebraintruth.com to catch up. She's an advocate. Like, she's trying to, like me, change the dialogue and narrative. She doesn't even she calls herself a medical doctor because they're medical doctors specializing in psychiatry. We think about psychiatrists, we think, oh, we're just gonna, you just a brain doctor. No, they're actual medical doctor. They do their rotations and surgery and OB-GYN and pediatrics, but Freud, if you guys ever heard of Freudian and Freud, he's the one who separated the brain from the body. And they started, whatever century that was, with people laying on a couch and they sitting there with a notepad. But no, it is medicine. It's medical.
It's definitely medical. And they'll tell you even, as working as a nurse in the hospital, you can have two patients, same diagnosis. One is more optimistic.
Yeah.
they experience their thing differently and may survive. Another one maybe is not so optimistic, and
Exactly.
it ends up being their demise.
Yep.
And their brain and their thought process is the only difference in, sort of speak, the pathology of their condition,
Yep.
right? So our mind is, and it goes back to that thought process is you are what you think, right? If
Yep.
you think you can do it, you probably will do it. If you think you can't do it, then you probably won't do it.
Exactly.
So it's interesting to know. I know you said with your social anxiety, and we're glad that you did it, but how was it for you being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta and interacting and sharing your story?
It was, here's a bit of information. I was actually on the first season,
Really?
but I wasn't in person.
Okay.
I was in a lot of scenes with like FaceTime because I was managing her the first season.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I was like, we would have meetings and things like on Zoom, and that's how they were handling it. And I think I during the first season is when I had a couple of when Ryo left, my husband,
Okay.
and I had like a little like he left. I was calling my mom and I was just like hysterical when it was like hitting me that it was months had passed and he wasn't coming back. And they had recorded that scene and they were gonna, have me sign a clearance. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that to be out there. So they removed all my scenes from the season.
Oh.
And so they actually played a flashback this season when Drew was in the kitchen cooking with Anaya, my niece, when
Hmm.
she was on the phone. That was actually 2 years earlier when I
Wow.
was calling about my husband. I was crying. I was like, I don't want to go back into the hospital, which I eventually self-admitted.
Mm.
Well, I didn't finish the story. So when I saw the picture of the girl, back in October of 2022, and when my, staff and everybody was telling me what was going on, I self-admitted
Oh,
after having that serpent thingy. And
right.
I went back to River Edge now that they're a partner, a sponsor of the Brain Truth. And I called my girlfriend, who's the CEO. Her name is Allison, too.
Oh,
And I went into the hospital for 25 days.
wow.
I self-admitted. I was not coming out of there until I knew that I had forgiven him and that I could function and that I had let go of the soul tie, everything. And I came out and Drew was like, come to Atlanta. Mom's here, blah, blah, blah. And so I went and I was just there to just kind of recuperate from my second time in the hospital.
Gotcha.
And they had asked me, did I want to do a scene, which was a scene in the family room. When I started telling her, which they didn't air, my story that I just told all you guys.
Okay.
And she had not even heard it, really. And that's why that scene, I think one blogger said it was the most authentic scene in the history of Real Housewives because I didn't really care about the cameras, honestly. I've been in the entertainment industry for 30 something years. I've produced major shows. I don't see cameras and I didn't see them in my workplace. So some of these people, they perform for the cameras. I just was like, whatever, they're here. And I know they're going to edit it. So you don't know how they're going to edit it anyway. So you just got to be yourself. And after I did that scene, we cried real tears, we hugged and the producers came out and were like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. We just want to thank you. And then after that, they just kept asking me, like, do you mind? And then they started seeing like we're real sisters. Like, I'm gonna have my sisters back. Like, this is how we'll be with or without these cameras. This is who we are.
Yeah.
Um, and she had somebody in her corner and I was really seeing the stuff that was going on and with Ralph and I was paying attention but I was like kind of like not telling anybody that I was being buddy buddy with him because I wanted to see all the tea, what was going on, what you doing. And she even said recently, when I told her I was kind of like buddy and budding up to him so I could find out stuff. She was like telling my mom, it sounded like, why they all friendly and stuff. They don't even, but it was, I mean, we were trying to be friendly, but some of it was intentional because I couldn't believe like some of the stuff he was doing, like recording her and things like that. And like just stuff that I thought was just really horrible. And so that was authentic. And then when I started seeing how the women were treating her, and I was just like, oh no, honey. Like, no. And
Yeah.
so I just had her back, and that's how we are as a family. And the rest is history.
The rest is definitely.
Cousin Courtney was fake from day one. And I was telling Drew, but Drew, like I said, she loves her husband, which I applaud. When people are like, do this and that. When you, like me with my husband, like when you trust your husband, you trust what he says is true. So we grew up with that notion. You got your husband and you are one, you're a one flesh,
Right.
And so she always had his back. She always, trusted what he said to be true. So if I'm saying, girl, no, of course you'll be like, well, girl, my husband said it, so it's true, Like,
Absolutely.
all righty then.
Ah,
We gonna go with. And it wasn't until I came home and was like, I sent him a long letter about how I felt, and it was a long letter. And
ironically, in different ways, but in similar ways, you and Drew ended up with kind of similar husband
we're going through the same thing.
Yes. Yes.
At the same time, except, I believe God put me through mine first so that I can give her words, because her stuff is fresh and raw. So I'm able to sort of like, hold her hand and pray with her and cry with her in a different way.
Yes.
And I really believe I was used to help other people, because I could have never imagined. I couldn't even like get through a conversation about my husband without crying hysterically.
Yeah.
Being on the floor for like hours, because I just couldn't believe that he would leave me, And I mean, I supported this man, like everything, like what my sister did, because that's how we were taught.
Right.
And, to see him with another woman and, cheating before in the marriage, and I forgave him several times. It was like, dang, all that forgiving your cheating didn't account for no deposits on, like I could have left you 19 times, bro,
Right.
But so it's just me, this person now, I'm just, sometimes I'm amazed at myself, like, go girl, go, and it's still so much more work to do, but
It's a lot of work to do, but I think a lot of times, we teach people how to treat us, so to speak, right? And I never, because it's none of my business, right? And so to speak, I would never tell anybody, include any one of my friends or anybody else, like what you do with your husband in your relationship.
yeah,
But I will definitely say we put down the groundwork on how they're going to treat us by what we
yeah,
tolerate and don't tolerate.
yeah,
And they get used to that and they will treat us accordingly.
exactly. I
Right.
totally agree.
Yeah.
If God delivers him and he gets the help he needs and he comes back, yeah, I demand fidelity, respect. There's, and that's why I said if he was here and I was healing, I would not have the boundaries that I have now. I wouldn't even be healed probably in the way that I'm healed, because I was just, helping him, supporting him. I didn't have my own self. And one of the things that Prophet June had prophesied was like, God's going to put you through a season where you're going to finally, do Allison,
Yeah.
And I never did that. I'm 50 something years old and my life has been committed to other people's dreams and passions and managing their career. And now I'm at a place now where, I just got my own self a manager. I didn't even know how to find a manager because I've been managing so many people. And he was like, why I got to manage you? You're a man or seasoned manager. I said, I can't manage myself. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I'm intimidated. I'm like, don't be. I don't know how to manage me. We both gonna learn this together, but it's so funny that, I be asking people for help. Like, I'm like, I need sponsorship. Like, well, you do sponsorship, but it's different when I'm one of those people that believe in delegating, not dictating, and staying in my own lane. There's no way that I can do what I did for other people for myself when I have to concentrate on being talent and, doing the research before a podcast and, all the stuff that goes into being behind this microphone. And it's just people don't be believing me. You look 38, girl. I'll be 57, honey.
Beautiful. You look amazing.
Thank
Amazing.
you, E. Oh, I love E. That picture is so pretty of you.
I know, right? That's our E there, honey.
Oh, hey, E. Oh, fine. She said date multiple, honey. Woo! Where they at, though? I don't even know where they at. Where they at?
Where they at. So, okay, so we know you had your experience there on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And definitely, I think when you do these reality shows, you definitely need somebody in your corner. And what better to have than your own sister who 10 toes down is always going to have your back, okay? It was interesting to us, how they slid Courtney into the picture. Definitely messy, but I want to backtrack a little bit. I think everybody felt just your whole storyline
Yeah.
was the most authentic that we've seen on Real Housewives of Atlanta
Wow.
in a long time. And I think everybody felt like that's what we need to get back to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of
Yeah.
all of this other nonsense that is going on.
Yeah.
I think everyone felt like that's how Atlanta lost its like, so to speak. What we call, when we recap these shows, fake storylines, where it just seems like stuff is made up. And we appreciated the fact that you dealt with a real life issue that many people actually go through, and
Mm-hmm.
you wasn't afraid to talk about it and share your story. So
Yeah.
definitely we commend you and we appreciate,
Oh,
yeah.
I
You,
like, honestly, being on set and meeting some of the ladies, I mean, I can attest to you guys for real. Like a lot of stuff is actually real. Like they don't script it or anything. And I just think that the culture feels like you got to buck it up and sometimes that's not necessarily always the answer.
mhm.
And, sometimes you can be assertive and speak your ground, but let's speak it out. We don't have to scream it out and walk away. I will not be moved.
Yeah.
I'm not intimidated by anybody. So if you got something to say to me, if you screaming, I don't care. Okay, you done? You good? You want some water? Now what's up? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, how are we ever going to move forward if we can't resolve anything ever? Like, what we gonna do here?
Well, it's interesting that you said a lot of it is authentic, because I always thought to myself, what grown people act like this on a regular basis? It just
Right.
seems insane, right? I've never had a group of girlfriends where all the time it's like we're clawing at each other.
Yeah,
And I think that's why people are just like, it was a lot, right?
a lot.
Just the way that Marla was when she was talking about her cousin and how she was in Drew's face. We was like, okay, this is too much. Like, this is crazy. Like, where did all that come from? It can't be that serious, right? But I will step back and say that a lot of people on the show, from what we know, what they told about on the show, they need some healing.
Yeah.
They got their own little process that
Yeah,
they.
when we did the health retreat, we were at the table, and again, a lot of the good stuff doesn't make it though, because
Mm,
we had some really good conversations at the table when Kenya was talking, and Kenya is really sweet, by the way, y'all. I mean, like super sweet. We text each other and stuff. Cynthia Bailey is amazing. We had a few moments just about our marriages and things like that, and just when she talks to you, you feel like she's there with you. Like she doesn't look around. She's just present. So, I got to connect with those two, and they're my age, we're the same age group and going through the same stuff. And so a lot of stuff just don't make it. Sometimes it's all about editing too.
yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff is on the editing room floor, I promise you. But if you have all great moments, you may not make it in a cut sometimes. Like we didn't know if the mental health scene was going to be seen. And the only reason it was probably seen because there was some drama happening. Because one season, Drew, my niece had a beautiful baptism party or christening party or whatever, and that didn't make it, you
Mm.
know. It could be too positive. It could, it's always like you just never know what the producers or the network, how are they going to pivot this story. So, it's kind of like, can we blame it all on, what I'm saying? I'm looking at Love and Hip Hop. I don't really watch the show, but Mona Scott is a friend of mine, and she, moved quickly with that situation. So,
Mm.
but now they're using the situation. They are dramatic. I saw this video, like it was all this music. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, okay, but it's still the culture of the show. So it's like, how do you balance that?
Honestly.
Right?
Well, you know
Some
what?
things you get away with, some things you don't. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So I will say this. It's great to hear that you say, how the different personalities are. We're not seeing all of it when we watch this.
Yeah,
How you're saying some of these people behind the scenes are so sweet. But I think also too, and this is not to any given one, because listen, make your check, make your money. But I think too that at some point you have to say to yourself, okay, is this what I want to put out there? Is this how
Yeah.
I want my persona, my brand, and
True.
my personality, knowing that they're going to cut it up how they want to cut it up? Is this what I really want?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to reel it back in and take the reins in, because it seems like to me, because I watched RHOA from the beginning. In the beginning, I felt like it was more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
They had a little balance because it's the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They showed the husbands too.
Yeah.
Like, it was more of the husbands. It was more of a family thing, and you got a good mix. And it felt like when we saw the arguments in the beginning, you understood where the argument was coming from because you saw
Yeah.
the lead up. You saw the lead up. Now,
Yeah.
like, they're chopping it up and they're just showing us.
Right. You don't just the drama part.
Yeah,
You don't see the evolution. The story isn't fleshed out. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that
I agree with
right there.
that. Yeah.
So
Because
then,
I've been an Atlanta housewife day one, honey. Like
okay,
I
yeah,
think I was watching it before Drew was even watching it, you know?
right.
And I just recently got a chance to work with Nene Leakes too. You know, I booked her in a couple of events and she came to Chicago and we hung out and she's super sweet. Like it was trippy. Like that woman is so kind, so loving. She spoke to all these young women, spent so much time taking pictures with them. And so I think, you know,
It's
it's
nice to hear.
almost like whatever brand she had to do to make it, but that's not, it's who she is naturally, but she's naturally like an authentic person. Like you have to fight your way. Sometimes you have to, I see, you know, some of the stuff that my sister went through, you
Mhm.
know, authentically, you know, like even when they were like calling, was she a liar? She a liar. And I'm still trying to figure out on the last show, I was like, can somebody DM me the list of lies though? I'm still trying to figure out, do y'all talk about that? I'm like trying to figure out what did she lie about? I still don't actually
But
know.
you know what, Allison, the way that it is cut up and chopped up,
Yeah.
listen, all of these ladies, their personality appears a certain way to all the fans
Yeah.
because of the sequence of the show, the way they chop things up, and that's how you come
Maybe.
to say,
Yeah.
well, this one is messy, this one is a liar, this one is that. So, and especially with Nene, because if you watch from the beginning and the
Yeah.
way things are chopped up and put together and put there out to you, this is what you end up seeing, right? This
That's
is what
true. Yeah, you don't have any reference points because I asked, I was even asking Drew, like, why they call you that? What you got, girl? What you say? What you do, girl?
well, and we don't even have to go into this, but I will say one of the biggest things was because they had this whole big argument. Did she kiss a girl? Right.
Yeah,
So that was one of the things where people were saying, oh, that's the part of where the lie started, right?
but
They're
she didn't. And the funny thing is, like, you would have to go back that Candy had already said, you know what, maybe I made a mistake. I didn't see what I didn't see.
right.
And I had said on another show on Make It Make Sense, like, why would she have to lie that she kissed a girl though? Like, that's not something that, you know, I kissed a girl before, like I think in high school or something, or college, like in the parties where people go, do it, do it, do it, do it, you know, whatever. I don't think it's anything to be, it wouldn't be something that my mom, or she's a grown woman, she get in trouble, or
Right.
it'd be something where people look down on her or anything. She wouldn't have to lie about that.
Right.
She just
And
did a whole movie where she plays a lesbian.
right. But see, it's a chain of lead up, right? So you
Yeah.
got Latoya, who, whether they chopped it up that way or whatever, who
Yeah.
seemed like she didn't want to just come right out and tell the truth. You got Marlo bouncing around. I did see it. I didn't see it. So
Right.
all of these,
Nobody was consistent. They were actually lying because Latoya, is that her name? I met her at the
uh-huh,
Peep Social.
yes,
Yeah, they had the whole scene where she was like, no, it didn't happen. She had said it on a couch, and then Candy had said, well, maybe I didn't see what I saw. I don't know, you know. And so it's just like, okay, so then why are you backtracking on it again? Like, let it go. And why are you guys so gung-ho on persecuting somebody? And why is that a persecution? You know, Candy's very open about her swinger lifestyle and whatever. Like,
right.
my thing is, why y'all keep going with this story? Like, if she kissed you, like, I kissed her, and then what do you have? Then it's like if she said, okay, yes, fine, I kissed her, and then what?
Right. Well, well, I'm just, I only bring that up to say that that's where people are connecting this whole lie thing from.
Oh, but
And
they
then,
say she lies all the time, and then,
yeah.
but that's been proven that wasn't a lie. That Candy says she didn't see what she saw,
Ah,
and then
well,
Latoya says she didn't. They didn't kiss.
right. You know how it is though. Once you put a narrative is put out there that people would rather connect to,
Yeah,
then you got little dots that will
That's
help
so
people
scary.
connect to
You gotta
that.
be careful of everything because I would see the lie would be if she said, "Hey," the lie would be, remember for 12 months, go girl. A
Yeah,
lie would be like if she said, "No, no, I didn't kiss her." I mean, yes, I did kiss her, or yes, I did, or no. She just said, "No, I didn't."
right.
So where that's what I'm saying. Where's the lie except everybody saying she lied because she did, but then they said, well, she didn't. So it was just like,
It was a
I
mess, but then
was like, can
they
y'all
added
just get on a show and kiss? Can y'all just like go on one of these blogs, like Neighborhood Talk or the Shade Room, and just get down, bust some slob, and get this stuff over with? Because it's like I would
you
not
know
let
what,
nobody
Allison,
keep
though,
at me.
honestly, it didn't help that then I want to say her name is Ty. Then that
Yeah.
story came into the picture. And it didn't help that then Ralph himself, her husband, wanted to throw some, context to the whole story. So when you add all of those little dots and people start connecting them, then they're like, oh yeah, I do believe that it happened and she's lying, right?
Oh,
So
geez.
that's just where it all came from. So,
Oh,
people are
okay.
saying, your own husband is saying this and that, that and that. And this girl Ty comes into it. So that's where people threw that whole thing out there, right? But
And then
that's
he even put a trap on her phone, and at the reunion, they had the whatever was in the WhatsApp, wasn't nothing in that. That's why it didn't go nowhere. It fell flat.
yeah.
I
But
mean, everything was falling flat. It was like, okay, so I read it and I'm like, okay, so she flirted with you. And I mean, at that point, it's like, if anybody, if a monkey flirted with me, I'm flirting back because
ah,
my husband treating me the way he treating me. How you doing, monkey? You want to share a banana? Like, I
but
don't
then you
know.
see how all of those dots made people make
Yeah, putting it all together was a lot. And it was a lot being thrown at somebody. That's a lot. We're going through my dad's stuff, and then your husband is recording you behind your back,
yeah,
starting this rumor, coming on the show to try to discredit you. You know, he's a narcissist. I mean, I don't want to make that full night diagnosis. He has narcissistic traits. How about that?
there you go.
And because there's no way he was the only husband at the reunion. I'm like, where's your peach baby? So my thing is like,
Well, I
that's
think that's messy too, but
very messy.
it's messy a roller because I'm like, okay, there's other people on that couch that had husbands. Where's the husband scene? So do you see how they're losing all of like what
Because
they
all the husbands used to sit behind them.
yes,
He's
absolutely.
sitting on a couch, honey,
Yeah.
with a tuxedo on, like getting his hair done and makeup and glam.
But
And I never had glam. I was doing my own makeup. I was looking tore from the floor in some of them scenes. I'm just getting through the day because you get like mic fatigue because you have that mic on all day,
okay.
and you're just living your life. Like when he came down the kitchen, I was making tacos. That was on a Friday. We was really having fun in the kitchen. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? And I had did my scene and
Right.
they cut that out. We were upstairs. I brought Drew her taco that she was eating because I was cooking. And we had talked to our dad on the phone with my mom. And so I just,
It's a lot.
it was like, ooh, why are you in here starting trouble? Like,
Yeah.
stop. And somebody said I was holding a knife. I don't even remember that. It's like me going, like, and I was like, I look back and go, oh gosh, I was. Because you don't really remember like the scenes, until you watch the show.
And you're like, oh my God,
Because
I did
think
that.
about it, it's like 10 hours cut down to 5 minutes, 2
Wow.
minutes.
Wow.
So you just don't really know. It's like a whole day. You're like tired. You're like, what? You've
Yeah.
had already went off on him 5 minutes ago, and then you back there talking crazy. So you're just kind of like,
Oh,
I just want to
was
eat the taco.
was there a full circle moment in the sense that did the dust settle between your three, Drew, you, and Ralph, so to speak?
Honestly, we've not addressed anything yet. When I came back home, I wrote him a long letter about the things I was very disappointed in
Mm-hmm.
as a sister,
Right.
and the stuff that I saw and how he behaved. And when he was at the reunion, we had not even talked to him for like 2 days, and we didn't even know he was there. And we were praying and hoping that he was coming to apologize. I was like, girl, he gonna have flowers and he gonna get on his knees. We were just praying with my mom, like this is his opportunity to really, make this amazing. And when I was walking, minding my own business, do, 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 down the hallway, when I saw that creepy hug, that's when I saw him. Like, what the hell is this?
Wow.
What is the monkey business going on in here? And so we never talked. And when I left, he blocked me again. Um, and I saw him at, the funeral. He came,
Oh,
of course, pay his respects. And we had a good time because it was about family. Everybody flew in from all over. We ate dinner. We, had fun. We played games, just trying to be together as a family during like the hardest time.
right.
Very difficult. And he went back, and I haven't talked to him or anything. So, if there is a next season, and hopefully, maybe that'd be a great way to start off, because I would like to really find out, like, what's going on, like
Yeah.
what happened. And I'm an advocate, as you can see, for marriage.
Yep.
I remember when he was talking this divorce stuff way before she even filed, way before she knew. We were in my hotel room, and I was crying, like, don't do this. And he was just talking about it. And it
Mm,
was it was emotional for me, because I don't want to see people break up, and the pressures of this show. I feel like it's like a divorce demon. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I just remember when he moved out of the bedroom was when she was filming The Past. And
Mm,
I made the mistake of calling her and saying, "Girl, he done moved out the room," and because he put me out of the guest room. I
wow.
saw my suitcase in the back. I'm like, "What's going on over here?" And he had put me out of the room, and I'm like, "Where do you think I'm gonna sleep?" He goes, "You can sleep on a mattress downstairs or on the couch." I'm like, no, homie.
Yeah.
I'm a 50-some-year-old woman. I'm not sleeping on nobody's mattress nowhere.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a hotel room, and I was taking care of the kids, so I'd have to Uber. But she was like, "I wish you wouldn't have told me," because she was in the middle of acting. I had so I had to apologize to her. I was like, I should have thought that through. But that's when it happened, just randomly. Just
Mm,
one day. It was like he was strategic about stuff. I don't know. It was like he was, I just feel like some men, they just feel like they got to get ahead of their crap. Like my husband, who was telling everybody we were divorced and separated before I even knew we were divorced and
yeah.
separated. They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we saw your man with your husband was this other woman. What's going on with you?" I'm like, "Where?
Yeah.
Where? What?"
Yeah.
He said, "Y'all separated, getting divorced." We are.
They try to, you know what? They end up breaking your soul in a way.
They
Um,
do.
yeah.
Oh
No,
God.
I went through something very, very similar. And then it's a lot of emotions you go through, because then you're like, "Dad, well, everybody knew but me." Like,
That's
how do
how
you?
I was feeling, like my
Yeah.
soul hurt.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with a narcissistic trait guy, they first of all, they're always going to find another supply. They
Yep.
have to disparage you. They have to
Yep.
make sure that you look bad,
Uh-huh.
because they have to look good, because when their stuff hits the fan, we've already made you look like a liar. We've already made you look like a cheater, so that we don't talk about all the cheating. You
Mm,
know, we don't talk about none of the stuff with you, because all eyes on you now. And so I've experienced that, and I know what it feels like. And when I see my sister getting that, it was just it was a lot.
triggers.
Whew, it
Yeah.
was it was it was real life. This is real life, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't concoct this story at all. It's real life.
Yeah, praying for them and the family and just the whole situation in general, no matter which way it ends up spinning.
Thank
It's
you.
interesting you said, you're welcome, that you know Mona Scott. I'm gonna tell you from on the other side of the spectrum, somebody on the outside looking in, what it seems like. It appears, right? And we never know the backstory, but
Right.
what it does look like to the fans is that Erica Mena did what she did. It was filmed, it was taped, and everybody's aware of this filming and what
And it's
happened,
aired.
and then it's aired.
Yeah.
So, and then according to her, Erica, right? She was on there way after this already happened and was still filming and still working. And it was when the fans were outraged,
Of course.
and it seems like that's when action was taken. And for us, or for me, I'll speak for myself right now, it's to me it's like, okay, if someone did something so bad that they needed to be fired, why did I need the fans to tell me that this person did something so
That's
egregious
true.
to be
You
fired?
know, I think public opinion has a lot to do with why these shows,
Uh-huh.
are. I think as a culture, I think this whole reality stuff now after COVID, all kind of things. I think again we're coming a little bit more aware. I just blame it on ignorance. I mean, just like the reason I went viral, thank you, Candy, was when she said it on her big platform, and the big gag is it got even more, play when she removed it because the fans were like, what you said was wrong
Uh-huh.
about my mental illness.
Right.
And of course, yeah, she said it, she filmed it, she put it out there, and then
Mhm.
people were like, no, then she removed it. That's ignorance. That's just pure like ignorance, selective outrage. That's even a better, yes, selective outrage. And so that's what the game is. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's the whole gag now is like, you can't say that anymore. You can't say this anymore. You're not supposed to say this word. You're not supposed to say that word. And
Mhm.
so you can't say this. This is, like even now, before this culture where we have to start understanding he, she, and all these different pronouns and this and that. It's just this, we're in a place now where it's like, what do we say now? How do we approach it? What are we doing? You know?
Can't barely talk. It's like we got a
Right.
invisible gag. Um,
Yeah.
Before you open your mouth, you really got to think about what you're saying because it can at any given time a point.
And she said it.
Of,
I didn't even know that Erica Mena, is that her name? Mendez or something?
yeah,
I thought she was black. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I didn't know you can be black and say something racist, but I guess she's Hispanic, but I don't know. She was married to a black man. She got black
yeah,
kids. She black. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
It was,
It's a lot, right?
I didn't
It's a
really
lot.
see the whole story. I didn't see the fight. I know the girl. The only reason I know the girl Spice with the blue hair is because I saw her testimony after she had the BBL or some kind of show where she almost died.
Yep.
And so that's the only way I even know who she is. But I
Gotcha.
don't watch the show. I don't have enough information to really speak on it.
Right. It's
Unfortunately.
just, I
Yeah.
just have to threw that out there because that's just a whole nother conversation in of itself that
Yeah.
to be had.
Because
And
Mona's done some great stuff. Again, I worked in Hollywood for 30 years. A
right.
lot of people that you see now are people that came up in my generation where we were all dreamers and we were all like, we're going to do this, we're going to do
Yeah.
that, we're going to do this, and so a lot of us went out and did what we said we're going to do, and so
And
she's
that's
got a
amazing.
show. She's got some other good content coming. It is what it is. Whew.
Right. And so, and of course, now that I do know, right? We're the thing I always like to tell people, we're not our worst moment,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
nobody's perfect, right?
Right.
So we all have done things that we just wish were
Exactly.
forgiven,
Like,
and
oops.
but all the time. But you're fortunate if you have a oops and you're kind of like your name is not known. But when your name is known and you have a oops, it becomes a big thing, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what happens with that. Um, First, let me say this because I don't want to hold you too long, and I know you spent a lot of
And
time
I
with.
didn't know if anybody had questions, 'cause I thought somebody had asked me something, but I don't know. It was
Oh yeah, so
moving
we'll
so
go into
fast.
Q&A if you're okay.
'Cause
So
I don't see the comments, but I did see somebody said something, but it went away so
it
fast.
went away so fast. So
Yeah.
listen, right now we'll take this moment, everybody. If you have a question for Allison, throw it in the chat, and I will pull it up, and Allison will address your question. All
My
right. If you
puppies are tearing up my room. They are really tripping right now. I'm sitting here like, "Oh goodness."
they like, mommy, what are you doing? You
It's like
too long already, and we need you. Okay. So while we're waiting to see if there's any questions for Allison in the chat, the brain truth, I'm going to update the description of this video so that you can follow Allison, and you do see it next to her name. She has the website there that you can go connect. It's a very good cause, and we need all of these allies. We need all of these allies in these different things. So that's a good question, Nee. So do you forgive Kim?
Yes.
Yes.
I forgive her. I don't even have really anything like against her actually. Candy and I got along. We had fun. She just said something very ignorant, and and that's because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And hopefully she knows now.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay, so y'all heard that out there. I love that. Forgiveness, everybody. And I think we all need to really practice that, right? And that's the thing that's breaking my heart. And listen, I don't want anybody to get crazy. Okay, what Erica said was wrong. I'm talking Erica Mena. But my thing is, let's push some forgiveness. Does the girl have to be canceled forever? She has children she has to
Right.
raise.
That's
And
her
you know, so
job.
yeah. So that yes, she does have a YouTube channel, Denzel. And you see the little sign back there, YouTube. Again, we will in your YouTube channel is the Brain
The
Truth.
Brain Truth for Allison Jordan. Yep.
Okay, the Brain Truth for Allison Jordan.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, everyone. Matter of fact, can we get some of y'all to go over there right now and subscribe while we're live?
I
Come on
need
now,
more
people. Hit
subscribers.
that subscribe button. Yes. And actually, you know what? Let me see if I could pull up on my other screen. I'm going to subscribe right now in real time.
Thank
Also.
y'all.
Yes.
Hey, Denzel Crawford. That sounds like a famous name.
Don't it though? All
And
right, go ahead.
Academy Award goes to Denzel
Okay, let
Crawford.
me see.
I like that.
Let me see, because I might be able to share screen and show. Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
You'll even see I have like a highlight reel, and then I have a video on there where I was videotaping myself while I was in the hospital in 2020. I don't even know. I didn't even realize it. I looked at my phone months later that I had did it, and I was saying like, I don't know why God is putting me through this, but he wouldn't be putting me through this unless it was for real, something he wanted me to do. And I said that on June 27, 2020.
Well, okay, so here it is, everybody. I do have it on the screen. I just subscribed myself, okay? So we're gonna go over there, subscribe, watch some of these videos, hit the like button, share video.
Yes,
Yes,
honey.
let's support. We gotta support Allison, okay?
Oh, I
Okay.
went up some subscribers too.
Oh, well, go ahead now. All right.
Hallelujah. Thank you.
Yes, hit that subscribe button, Shan. Hit that subscribe button, everybody. Let's support Allison.
Thank you.
Chatted with us. So let's go over there and support her channel. Watch some videos. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Okay. Anybody else have a okay? All right.
Thank you. Belize. Is that how you say it? Belize?
I believe so. Yes. Belize in JB. Yes. Thank
Hey,
you, Belize.
Belize.
Always comes
Pretty.
through here.
Pretty. Thank you.
Don't they though, E?
Ah,
Ashton and Drew look
you're
like,
so funny. We don't think we look alike though.
oh my God, just alike.
She looks like me.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Even
She
your
took my look.
put your eye on your thumbnail. Look, just you and Drew look just like Alicia. Thank you. She subscribed. Okay. Okay. Wait. They put the name. Put the
What
name.
she said something about ask that something about put the name in
Yeah.
the chat.
Um.
Takesha. Oh,
Let me see.
Takesha.
Wait. Ask Allison to divorce that husband and sue him.
I like E.
That is E. Shan, thank
Oh
you.
no.
Appreciate you. Julia, subscribe. Priscilla, subscribe. Come on, y'all.
Amen.
Denise,
Thank
thank
you
you.
all.
Okay. What is the channel again? It's the Brain Truth Virgin Love 8. And I just put it up there. I'll show it to you again really quick. I just subscribed
Thank
to
you, Denzel Crawford.
okay, Diva, scroll up for my okay, I'm sorry, Shan. Let me go back and see if I can get
Shan Dior. All your people have like famous names. Like they all have like
okay, here we go. This is Shan.
oh
Allison, did Ralph, aka Scrub Daddy.
Scrub Daddy. she said Scrub Daddy. I'm sorry. Oh God.
Oh God.
Okay. Whew. So how are you able to move past it? Well, yeah, it affected us because I couldn't go to a lot of things at her house, you know, and a lot of times it was like, and it was in the house when they lived here in a suburb here, and it was like 20 minutes from me.
Wow.
So yeah, I couldn't go to like parties and barbecues and you know, again, that's her husband, so she gonna support him. And I mean, a few times I was like, wow, so like I really can't come, you know.
Yeah.
But I got past it because the person I am now, you know. I think the person I was then, I didn't have a lot of anger, but I had a lot of sadness.
Got
Which
it.
kind of contributed to a lot of my depression and just like, you know, no one loves me, no one cares. How could he do this? How could that person, you know? So You believe, bro?
Mm.
Don't be asking real questions.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
Thank you, E. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of, yeah, obviously, if you come on somebody's platform, that's their job, and try to destroy them. I mean, if my friend worked at Chase Bank, that's like me going to her bank and just, she's a cheater, she's this, she's that, I got video, I got this. That's a lie. That's like, what is your intention?
Yeah.
If you don't want to see, this is what I think it was Portia's husband or somebody, I don't know the exact quote, but it was like, if your wife is shining, you're supposed to let the light on her and go grab more light. And if you got light on you, take yours and put it on her.
Ooh, it sounds, you know what it really sounds like? It sounds like something Greg Nene Leakes, God rest his soul, husband would have said. I can't say it was him who said it, but it really sounds like something he would have said.
Put that light on me, bro. Like, why is the light on both of us? It's my platform. It's called Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Not Real Housewives and Ralph of Atlanta. Like, that's what it was looking like. Thank you, Virgin.
Come on through, y'all, and subscribe.
Come on through.
I will say this. It did appear like, right, that the way a lot of things, when she would talk to him, like, are you going to support me? Because I got to do this. I need you to watch the kids or whatever. It did seem like it always flipped back. Well, I'm busy too. It's like, where is the support of your wife? We saw a lot, but I felt like when we were introduced to them as a couple on the show, we didn't see the love and support there from day one. Because from day one, it was like, why was you in Florida? And we all lost our mind.
Girl.
Right? Okay.
We still don't know where he was in Florida. Anybody see him in Florida? I was on the phone with her. Allison, I nosy what the PI.
Oh.
And some people heard me say it too.
Yeah, we heard that. I
was like, girl, tell her, go in there. Say anything. Oh, and they wouldn't let me in on that stage. They was keeping me tucked away. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could say everything because I know they're in the middle of a divorce.
Right.
And some of that stuff is used as evidence.
Yeah. We won't. You have.
But I'll bring you the tea when I get it, when it's legally available.
Yes, yeah. We heard that. Because we sat up. We said, "Oh, a PI, you better go back there." But I will say this: I love the way she answered it and said, I can't. That's my husband. I'm not going to do that. I will say that. I love the way Monietta came back there to support during that moment.
Yes.
And so did Sonia, right?
Yes.
Because it's like a lot of times when we see in these shows, I do know, right? Because if you got a brain, you know that it's not all to the person what's being seen. But you always wish that you could see the better side of that person. Versus sometimes what is being cut up and clipped out. But I thought it was a beautiful moment when Sonia and Monietta went back there to make sure that Drew was okay.
And you guys saw the edited version. We were literally back there for like an hour.
Whoa.
She was having a major breakdown. Even before they even came, I was in there. She wasn't going to sing. I was like, you're going to go sing that song, girl. You're going to sing the song. And then they came back there like, you're going to go out there. This is your opportunity. Because of course, people were saying, oh, that was fake, or she was singing. And first of all, she didn't know he was going to be there like that. She didn't know he was going to be sitting on the sofa. We didn't know he was going to antagonize her like that. The song was already rehearsed. The lighting was already fixed. She was always just going to end with her song. And unfortunately, she had to end with it emotional and having to go through all that and then get out there and perform. You know what I'm saying? So what you saw was an hour later of getting it together, having to redo her makeup. You know what I'm saying? And talk to my mama and, hug and, and I think it was extraordinary that she went out there. Now her song is like number 3. She's opening for Tamar Braxton. We're doing a lot of stuff with that. So thank you, God,
It's a silver lining, right? It's always a good thing at the end of the tunnel there. I will say this: if they allowed for the 2.2 seconds they did Courtney on the couch and Moyetta, they could have go ahead and let you come on the couch too. I
Yeah,
mean,
why didn't they let me on that dang on couch? Because I was
okay.
bringing it. I don't know.
They
And,
they
and and when Courtney had said something on the show, like I was talking about beating her up all day and we were drinking tequila. Girl, that was in the morning. Everybody who knows me knows I'm obsessed with ginger tea. Like when I say obsessed, I am obsessed with it. And we had, I don't even know if it's tequila later. Like we all went out and ate and had drinks or whatever after the show. But and I don't even drink that much, first of all, anybody that knows me. Secondly, I'm not taking any medication or I don't have any illness that doesn't require me like to not,
right.
be able to drink. And you as a nurse, a lot of people are walking around here. We don't know what their illness is on. We don't know what medication they're on. You shouldn't even be taking Tylenol and alcohol. Am I right, nurse?
Better talk about it. You know what? You know what? Here's the thing. Nobody. Well, I can't say nobody. A lot of us did not connect to Courtney at all.
Yeah, it was
Very
like, girl, where are you
performative.
going with this?
Yeah.
Why are you
Very.
trying to bring? Here's the thing. I never did anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Mm,
Never. Drew never did nothing to her. Never. Like,
mm,
if you go back, she had her back. Even when people didn't like her, she was like, come on, that's my cousin. That's my husband's cousin. This
right.
woman just was trying to get a peach, get a
Yep.
moment, and she was making wrong decisions on the moments. That's
Yes.
all I can say. And, and she definitely made a wrong decision to try to have a moment with me because that's not going to work, you
Yeah.
know. And so I don't get it. Like when I was walking past the room, I wasn't thinking about her. She was literally not a thought
Mm-hmm.
in nobody's brains. Okay. And I saw that hug. That was the only thing, was just like, that was some creepy, weird, slow motiony. It was just weird. And I was just standing there and I was about to say something. I was about to say, like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
Yeah.
and she went to close the door on me because it was a sliding door. My foot was already in the room, kind of. And the cameras, I didn't even see. They were like in the corner. I didn't even know they were doing a scene. I just thought that she was in there coming to give a hug, and it was weird because first of all, we ain't seen you, Ralph. You ain't talked to your wife. We ain't talked to her at all.
Right.
Because at the reunion, I'm not hugging you because at the mental health retreat, when all that stuff came out, when she called her a B, there's a scene where nobody saw where I actually asked her. I said, "Did you call Drew?" It's like, what? And she was like, "No, Allison, I didn't." Da, da, da. And then when the fight came, because she came up to jump Monietta at the health retreat, at the
Oh,
mental health retreat. I don't know if that aired. And then I went to pull her back because now we still, hey cousin, hey cousin.
right.
And she went and snatched away from me, let go of me, did it. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh,
Mm.
keep my side eye on her, because it was just this other person emerged, this aggressive person. And so that was the only interaction from that. I only saw her when we went out in the beginning. My mother spoke on that.
Uh-huh.
The Peach Social, when we were like, hey cousin, gave a hug, and then they filmed. And then at the mental health thing, hey cousin, whatever, and then she pulled away. Then I'm just like, this one, something wrong with her.
Yeah.
And there's other scenes that weren't aired, just her being aggressive. And so when I was walking past there, I was just kind of like, what's going on? And she tried to slam the door on me. Like literally, I think it even hit my ankle. And
Wow.
that's when I was like, don't don't slam this door on me. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, are you okay?
Was
Like,
that
seriously,
her
are you
sister in
okay?
the room?
Huh?
Was that her sister in the room too?
Who?
Courtney's. Or that was just
No,
maybe.
that was a producer that they were in there. Like,
Oh,
and I don't even know why that producer wouldn't let that scene keep going, because I didn't even see them. I didn't know what they were doing. Like, you don't know because you're moving around and they're
right.
filming on stage. And then I guess they had a camera crew just going from room to room doing, I don't know. And I just saw them. I don't know if they were in there talking. I don't know. I didn't see them. I just saw them hugging. And
Gotcha.
I need to find out what was going on. While my sister on
Oh,
stage filming, what y'all doing? What y'all talking about? Because y'all whole purpose is about her. Y'all
yeah.
don't have no other storyline. You're her husband and you're the fake husband of her husband and you talking about her. So your whole being, purpose, moment, you know. And so I was standing there and she tried to slam it. Then she called me a bitch. And
Yes.
then I was like,
The word
Don't
she
call me.
doesn't use.
I was like, don't call me a bitch. And she was like, bitch, 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 bitch. And I'm like, I thought you didn't say it. Like, what in the heck is happening right now?
Ooh,
It was hilarious. I was just like, what?
what?
And I
You
called
know,
my mom because I couldn't be sure what happened. I just remember I was pushed away, and then Andy was there,
right.
and he was like, just, it ain't worth it. And I was just like, what in the heck is wrong with her? Like, I was just not mad, but just kind of like, what is wrong with this lady?
Yeah.
Why
And
is she calling me out of my name? Like, what is wrong with her? But anyway.
ah, you know what? I think that newcomers, they want that peach so
She's
bad.
so desperate.
Yes. Yes.
And then she started talking like the mental health lady and the this and that, and just really just destructive. Just, girl, stop.
I
Sit down.
stopped watching a lot of her interviews because they wasn't making sense.
None of it. And
And
she must
yeah,
have no friends, because if
yeah,
you have zero friends, because if you had one good friend, they would say, girl, stop.
stop.
Girl, why you doing that?
Well, especially when you call yourself the brandista.
Your brand Easter is finista. It's finista, boo boo.
That
Because
that
there's
that
no
was
way
the
you should
biggest
be
one.
posturing yourself like that. That's just not cool at all. And it's sad. And I went back on the show. Well, I didn't go back on the show, but Make It Make Sense had produced the sister came into my DM and threatened me.
Mm.
And I said some words with her, like, girl, I don't know if you think you can intimidate me. I don't know who you think I am. I don't know what you all think like I said, well, I'm supposed to be in a straitjacket. This is not this kind of party. We're grown women. So
Right.
what it is, something like what's up, something. I'm like, oh,
Who, Courtney's sister?
yes.
Wow.
I was like, girl. Somebody was like, not me. I didn't say this, but somebody's like, oh, they should do a spinoff called the sister edition, Trash Against Class, or something like that, or something like. I was just like, oh my God. They are going mad on some of these blogs with memes and things like that. It's so hilarious. And then somebody did a video with Drew singing. Did you see the guy that was
Yes, I
imitating
did.
Ralph? And
Yes, I did. It's hilarious. It
you
is
gotta laugh
hilarious.
though, because
Because
some
I
of these
mean, he was
people,
sitting there doing the face of Ralph. It's hilarious.
the
Oh,
internet, they have no shame. They
no
have no
shame.
mercy.
No mercy at all. So it's interesting because again, I thought just on the outside looking in, I'm like, how did she not know that he was going to be there? Wasn't they still living together? So
Well, she knew, but she really didn't want him there.
got you.
But they hadn't talked. It wasn't like, we were just hoping that he would come on, and
Do the right thing, so to speak.
yeah, we thought he was coming, girl, with a big old diamond and flowers and a trip to Hawaii. We was coming up with all kind of. We did not know. None of that was happening. It was crazy.
Well, like you said, when they have traits like that, they always think that they are correct. And he really came, I guess he thought he was going to clear up his image somehow, some way. But again, I felt like it was a missed opportunity with that scene, period, because it shouldn't have just been Ralph. It should have been it should
All
have
the
been like they
husbands,
normally do.
especially Sonia's husband with the
Yep,
baby situation.
yep.
Todd,
Monietta,
who produced the movie.
Todd, yeah, absolutely.
Manietta's husband, who's so cool.
Yeah, he
He's
seems like
he's super cool. Their relationship is so like, you just want to just, they just love each
Ah!
other. They just love each other. They like best friends. Be like, oh, y'all got to look so cute and love each other like that.
But it seems like
Yeah,
that relationship comes across like that on TV.
yeah,
It really does. It comes
yeah,
across like that. And so yeah, I felt like it was a missed opportunity. So
yeah.
we also, just so you know, we also do when the reunion, we do a show on the reunion looks.
Oh, did you?
Yes, we
Who
do.
had the best look?
Candy came up on top, Drew came on top, and I think when we did it, those were the ones that came up on top.
Yeah.
But I will say this. On screen, Marlo's look, it was nice. It was nice,
Okay.
like on her sitting on the couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I just think Marlo just knows how to rock. She can rock a paper bag and make
that's
it
what I
look.
was going to say.
But
Probably.
no, honey, that dress, the lady who made that dress had made it like that day or the day before. I think her dress got
Really?
lost or something. I think that's the story.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I think you are right.
It was different though.
Yeah, she could definitely
I
rock.
had a dress too. I mean, I had like an outfit too, but I didn't put it on. I thought it would have been too much because I was backstage. I don't be walking around. Yeah,
Right.
it had a cute. Drew's stylist got me a cute little outfit because the color
Oh,
was teal. I think I ended up changing in it later or when we went out. I don't know.
so do y'all all like once the reunion was done? Did everybody kind of get together and like is everything kind of squashed? I'm not talking about Courtney because Courtney is Courtney, but I'm talking about
Like the
before.
reunion or after the show wrapped because it was months later for the
That is
reunion.
months later. So yeah, after the show wrapped.
I think after the show wrapped, I think as a family, we just had fun. Like we just,
Okay.
I think Drew went to a few parties. I think some of the kids had some stuff. I think
Okay.
some of the guys hung out a lot because they're real friends. And,
That's
I know Drew's real friends with Portia. And I think a lot of stuff was happening, just kid stuff, but not anything like together really. Because people was like go on vacation and like want to rest. It's grueling. The stuff that I saw my sister doing, it was grueling. I was like, oh my goodness, like it's a lot of work because see, it's not scripted. So if something happens on Friday and somebody get into an argument or something just out of nowhere, then they have to pivot. So you might get a call sheet at like 1 a.m, like you need to be on set at 6, because we got to talk about what happened last night. And
oh,
you're gonna go over to so and so's house and she wasn't there and she wants to find out what happened. So things are evolving. The stories and lines are twisted and turning. You know what I'm saying? Isn't
gotcha.
plotted out. So that's why it's just kind of grueling because you think I can sleep, but then no, we'll both get a ting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You gotta be here. You gotta be here. So
yeah.
lastly, I'm gonna ask you this: how is Sheree in real life?
I don't know. I didn't really care for the fact that she set my sister up like that at that party,
Which one? Remind
at
me.
the baby shower thing,
Oh,
bringing that,
that guy.
doing too much,
Doing too
nobody,
much. Doing too much.
doing too much, nobody. And
Yeah,
that was kind of a setup. That was kind of dirty. And then she
that
came
was.
on the reunion with these receipts,
Oh, yes, that's right.
which was nothing. And then you
Yeah,
smiling in somebody's face and you're trying to, it's like, girl, that's just, you're reaching real low.
yeah.
That's so not classy to me. So
No, it is low. I forgot all about that. You are correct. First of all, my thing is, why would you bring him and he talked about you too? Like you
talk
that
about you.
yeah
He
to
was
have
a fake assistant. He was this, he dogged you. He was trying to get a moment by any means possible. And you gave him that. But he literally threw something at her and attacked her when they weren't even filming. It was a night she was at a private event and he came and
wow.
acted a fool. So my thing is why? And when I met him over the phone, once he answered her phone, nobody answers her phone. She was on set somewhere. I was like, who was that guy who answered your phone? He was doing the most then, and I didn't even know him. So yeah, he's getting everybody wants to get this moment. And I think I'm just so happy I just wasn't thirsty like that. Like that's not the point of it. Is what is the intention behind everything that you say and do though? Like
Yeah,
if you're getting on like he even had something rehearsed, he was saying something in the scene. I was like, oh,
yeah,
look like yeah. Oh, come on. So
yeah.
I kind of, I thought she was cool when I first met her because I met her many, many years ago. Her ex-husband was owned a recording studio that Drew had recorded at many years ago. We were doing recordings and stuff. We've been working on her music for a long time. And so I met them at the house. I think the kids were like babies, and she was so sweet and so nice. And we had gotten along until some of that. So I was just kind of like,
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Yeah, she did bring those ridiculous receipts. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, and then of course again we had the question of like who gave them to you? Because how could you get that?
Girl, there ain't nobody coming to your house. First of all, they don't know where you live.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's just gonna appear on your front
Yeah,
porch about Drew Sidora. Like somebody just said, ooh, I gotta get this over to Sheree's house of Drew Sidora's WhatsApp messages on
yeah,
Tuesday at 3. Like, that's just dirty. She could have told her. I don't know. Yeah, that was a good question, but
yeah. Well, we know she's phony and we don't pay. And don't pay allegedly. Wait, Shan, are you saying you asked one more? Oh, here it is. Is it this? Allison's tagline going to be, I don't need to be thirsty like the thirsty.
Yes, because I just sip my ginger tea.
Boom, boom. We just did it, y'all. We just did it. Okay. Boom. Okay.
Okay.
The unverified cousin. I thought that was
Unverified fake cousin Courtney.
yes.
Somebody start going UFCC. Sounds like a new division.
Oh
But yeah.
God. Allison, it has been amazing having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. When your book is finished, let us know. We will all purchase and support.
Ooh,
We will read.
y'all gonna make me cry.
Yes, we do a book club over here.
Are you serious?
Yes, we do a book club, and we usually book club or book club meetings is like on Saturday. The last book we read was the eight. Somebody remind me. In my opinion, if you still out there, remind me. But
What are you guys working on next, so I can be a part of the book club?
Oh, we haven't really
Oh,
figured
you
it
haven't picked it
out
yet?
because they beat me down. I said let's do I told them let's do Kerry Washington book. Okay, so everybody's still kind of on the fence. I appreciate her being very authentic too.
Yeah.
You know, she just found out that her dad, you know, was not her dad. She there was a sperm donor that helped create her.
I know this.
Yes, she talked openly about having an abortion. 8 Rules of Love. Thank you, in my opinion.
8 Rules of Love.
So that's the one we just finished, Allison. That's the one we just finished.
Oh, that's one, but I still want to read that. I didn't even know that.
It's really good by Jay Shetty, right? So
Okay.
she just talked about, you know, just she said secrets make you sick. And so
Wow,
that's why she's so authentic in this book.
I agree.
So that, you know, she said, free yourself, right? And she said, I wasn't a perfect parent, and you know, and my parents wasn't perfect, but she said, because of them, I am who I am. So love her. Then also, you're in the industry, you might know him. Kasaji Sims.
What did he do? It sounds really familiar.
He was singing. He was like in the music industry.
Okay.
He did a little something, I think, with Candy, like not directly with Candy, but one of the producers with Candy. But anyway, he told his story about, like, you know, he always knew he was gay, but he was in a heterosexual relationship. He has a daughter. He talked about how at one point when he came and told the mother of his daughter, like, his true self or whatever. Wow. And how they were still trying to work it out. Like, it was a lot.
That's the next book, or that's the book you're trying to push next?
I already did it.
Oh, you already read that one too?
Yeah, you already read that one too. So, but I will definitely keep in touch with you and let you know our next book.
Yeah, I'm going to follow, you know, I subscribe, so I'm going to be following you too, but I love reading. I have, you know, that's one of the things that my husband does. Okay. I know y'all don't not like him yet. But he is such an avid reader, and we have like libraries of books and books and books and books. He reads like everything, mostly like political stuff, but I read stuff like Candy Liquor and, you know, so like I try to enter stuff on like marketing and like entertainment, but if I'm gonna really, really read, I gotta cover up some of my my titles. But I do like reading though. Thank you, Jermaine.
And so when you do your book, listen.
Thank you, Sheila.
Yes, when you do your book, also do Audible for the busy people in the world.
Okay, yes, because I have Audible. Although I like filling the paper, but sometimes before I go to bed, I listen to certain books like just before I go to sleep and stuff like that. So yes.
But I'm telling you to do both, so that way, because usually what I'll do when I'm gonna do someone's book, if it's on Audible, I have the physical book. But I'll listen on Audible because it'll go quicker for me and I can get to the book quicker. And then I kind of mark or whatever. So that's why. And then you have a great voice too. So you can do Audible. You can do the Audible yourself.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Can I make money? Oh, I had to pay myself. Oh,
well, listen. Can you do a
and tell Drew that she carried the whole season with such beauty and elegance. We appreciate her transparent strength as much as well as yours. Okay, Shan Dior. I sure will. I wrote your name down.
And you got your word out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, Allison, praying for you and your
Thank
efforts.
you.
You're welcome with the mental health. I think we always need advocates in these different sectors of healthcare, especially, I think, for everybody, but especially when it comes to the Black and Brown community, because
Exactly.
traditionally, a lot of us have been taught to shy away from even expressing ourselves and that we need help when it comes to mental health situations. It's
Yes.
always like, oh, just go pray it away. Oh, it's in your head. Oh, stop it. Oh, like it's so
Mm-mm.
much. And we end up holding it in, and it makes us even sicker.
Yeah,
So,
it does.
yeah. So you being authentic and you having this efforts, I'm praying all the best for you. And we already know you're going to do extremely well.
Thank
The brain
you.
truth is amazing. Yes. And like you, if you ever get that petition, for us,
Yeah, whoever that was, I hope she will inbox me so
let me
that I can, I'm not trying to make you do no work, but help me. You put that out in the universe. Once you put something out in the universe that I wasn't even thinking about, let's
yeah.
go.
I'm gonna find who it was because
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Give her
look.
my email if you can, if she's one of your followers or whatever.
She definitely is. She's
But
all
yeah, help me, y'all. Shoot.
yes, we all gotta help each other, right? But that
Yes,
should definitely be part of preventive health care.
yes,
Mammogram is on the list. The brain scan should be on the list too. So we're
exactly.
praying for that. We're gonna follow you wherever we can. We will
Thank
always support.
you.
We will definitely support your sister Drew. Also, wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best, family
Okay.
together, and all of that. And listen, because you want your husband, I guess we gonna want your husband to come back for you. Okay.
I want not this man, a new man that if God reinvents him, of
Okay.
course, if
Okay.
he gets delivered and
Yeah.
yes, I
We
do.
want the best for you. That's what we're
Thank
putting in the
you.
atmosphere.
Thank you.
Okay.
I
But I love
appreciate you.
you. Thank you
I
for
love you too.
appreciate
This
you.
was fun. Bye, everybody.
Bye.